Thank you for tuning in to Koppen with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen. We're with comic Britt Migs. Britt Migs, how the hell are you?
I am doing great. How the hell are you?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for coming on. I follow you everywhere on Twitter. You are Britty Migs, and you're on that. That is on Instagram as well. But you have BrittMigs.com, and it's there I learned that you have won an Emmy.
My very little claim to Emmy fame. Yeah,
Yes.
I was a producer on the Dr. Oz show for a little bit.
Yes, dude, you deserve that Emmy. You are a field producer, right?
Yes, I was a field producer there, so I was out in the field, and yeah, got to do the whole Emmy thing. You know, walk the little red carpet and everything. It was a pretty cool moment in my career. Not comedy wise, but pretty cool for my TV producing career.
Pretty pimp for a day job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So yeah, we will await for we'll await the day where she's allowed to give her own Emmy speech for comedy.
There you go. So wait for that.
Yeah, somebody at Dr. Oz thought that they could give the speech for me. What the fuck?
I know this guy, his name was Dr. Oz. Yeah, he gave the speech. So it's weird that he thought he should do that.
Dude, and then you got a pit show coming up. You have a sketch. Your sketch team, I think, is Discotheque Support, which is hilarious.
Yes, love that name. Discotheque Support. We are one of the Pit House teams, and it's been kind of interesting, you know, in the queue to pivot from doing live shows once a month to doing them online. We were doing some, you know, sketch shows online for a while, then our season ended, and we decided to do a Halloween special. So look out for that.
Is it going to be Halloween themed then?
Oh yes, it's going to be creepy and spooky and all of the good things.
No, I scare easily. So what can I look forward to?
You can look forward to, I think you'll like it, because if you do scare easily, more parodies of classic horror things, you know? So not too scary, more like Scary Movie in that way.
Oh, because I think that, you know, from what I hear, you have kooky theories on things like ghosts and aliens, and I'm just kind of wondering what the fuck they are and how are you going to make them funny?
How are we going to make them funny? So I get into this, I love getting into deep conversations about ghost and alien theories. Those are my favorite to have, you know, with friends and things like that.
Why? Deep and meaningful. Like, do you guys think there's like a ghost here now?
Do you think there's an afterlife? Like all this stuff, because those are the questions, you know, the unanswered questions of the universe. And I am one of those kooky people that believes in ghosts. And it usually,
but I think about afterlife all the time. Like, so is it just like, do you think there's an afterlife? Because I think that's amazingly fun to think about, because you're like, if there is an afterlife and if there is a good place and I'm in it and have any control over what the fuck happens in my good place, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, I want to live forever. I'd be immortal if I could.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think, and I love haunted houses. Like, I will go out of my way to stay at a haunted hotel. I am just, besides comedy, like that's my other thing. I love ghosts, love horror movies, love all of it. So I do believe in ghosts.
Okay.
And I think I have a theory on it that is not the classic interpretation of ghosts. Everyone's like, oh, they have unfinished business, you know, they have to stay around here and haunt or whatever.
Yes, I can't wait. Because you're right. That's like the common take, and I want to hear the Britt Migs hot take on this. What is your novel twist on this just tired ghost theory?
It's so tired. So this is my thing. I think it's kind of an accident. I think, and I'm going to apply a little science here, which scientists are going to totally disavow me. But
they don't have an Emmy. Fuck them.
Yeah, who cares what they, you know, right? Who cares what they think? I think it's like energy just gets trapped here by accident, right. And these places that happen to be haunted, it's just, you know, they're not malicious spirits. Their little souls got trapped, and they don't really have a brain, or like they're not actively, they don't know they're trying to scare you or anything. It's just kind of accidental.
So I get, first of all, I love this, and I hope I see 10 front-facing videos on Instagram at Brittany Migs, because I think that you and this ghost thing, especially if you go to some of these haunted places, even if it's just a fake haunted place, like you make your apartment look like it, like I would love to see just kind of you acting, just scared but intrigued and wanting to kind of test out this theory somehow. But I guess my question is, so you're saying, I mean, I agree that, yeah, maybe energy's trapped. So that's interesting. But I love the fact that you're saying, or it allows for the possibility that it's not a full sentient being. You're saying no brain, etc. And so
Yeah.
like maybe just a little bit of energy got trapped, and that's why you're hearing the cupboard open and door, because it's effectively the guy's leg or something. Like it's
Right.
just a little ball of energy that doesn't make a mass that is a ghost.
Exactly. Like, and I love horror movies more than anyone I know. And I think that the thought that they're, they're trying to cause trouble and all that, that's silly. They're just accidentally there, exactly like you said. They're not sentient. They don't know what they're doing. They're knocking stuff off the table. Like they don't know they're doing that. So, and maybe it's my way of coping with fear, that I'm like, I'm not gonna be scared of ghosts because they don't know what they're doing.
Unless it manifests itself in such a way where they knock something off a high bookshelf and it falls on your fucking head and you die. Like you really have nothing to worry about.
That would be, yeah, that would be very upsetting and unfortunate, but it wouldn't be their fault because they weren't
Yeah.
deliberately trying to do that. They're just, I like to think of them as lovable oafs, and they just don't know what they're doing, and they're just kind of trapped there. That's all.
But I mean, there's a couple of problems. I mean, first of all, I really think that your theory makes perfect sense. Like I really think that you're
Tell
right.
the people,
Well,
tell
no,
the ghost people.
but
Yeah.
I think you're right in a way that's less entertaining though. Like meaning
Uh,
like I
yeah.
think you're perfectly fucking right. Like I love that. And then also, okay, does the rest of the energy that got out, like first of all, if a little bit of energy stayed, but what's to stop all the energy from getting trapped? And maybe there is certain sentient beings, maybe there's certain half beings, and then what happens to the rest of those half beings when they move on? Like I left my leg there, and what am I
Right.
doing? Like, I moved to the next plane. But I guess it's less entertaining in that you can no longer try to commune with the half-ass leg.
Totally. And I know, because I'm happy to have people try to poke holes in this, because that's great that, we
Oh, I'm
can.
not a hole poker. I'm just like meaning I'm not that smart where I just like poke these holes, but I'm like,
In my
is
sound
it
logic.
yeah, it like makes more sense, but it's less like you have less likely to make a connection with a ghost that's just a ghost leg, right?
Yeah, yeah. You
Like
need
they
them.
couldn't have done ghosts, right, with the pottery scene if it was just a leg, right?
They couldn't. No, he just Patrick Swayze's leg kind of next to her. I think she would have been horrified. But
That's great. That's great though. I mean, that could be a comedy video in and of itself. Like, have you communicated this theory on Instagram, and did you then spin off all these possibilities? Like, okay, his leg is there. That's why he keeps kicking the door shut. What can we do? Like now that we know we're living with a ghost leg, how can we take advantage of this? Can we tickle his foot?
how can
Things
we
like that.
become intimate with this foot?
He left his
Oh,
fingers behind. Can I do something with those fingers to get myself off with the ghost?
exactly. Oh, that's great to think about. No, and you know what's so crazy? I should marry those two things, because there's ghost talk. Like they have niche things for everything on the internet. And I should marry both my comedy with like my love of horror and all of that more often.
Are you saying that it's also a kink though, like ghost kink or no?
No,
Okay.
I am not. Have you heard those stories about ladies who are like, I totally had sex with a ghost? That's not me.
Yeah. Recently today, I had a guest on, and she was like, "Yeah, somebody was going to get married to a ghost, and then she got ghosted by a ghost." I think it was Kristen Seltman.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it could happen. I mean, they're liable. You can't count on them. They're ghostly beings. You can't expect them to show up to the wedding. I don't know. But yeah, there's women who say like they totally felt everything. And I would like to meet a ghost. I don't have any desire to have sex with one.
Okay, why
Um,
not?
I can't. I'm a big
Are you ghost
cuddler.
shaming?
I
If they
I
can,
don't know.
if they can fuck, they can cuddle, right? That's the rule, right?
I mean, maybe in a perfect world, I'm not sure. But I'm I'm a big cuddler post coitus. I don't know if I could have that with a ghost, but I
I
do
love this whole conversation.
this whole conversation. But I do want to encounter one, because then I can finally be like more confident in my theory, or my belief in ghosts. Because I get made fun of. I'm not a conspiracy, I'm not like wearing a tinfoil hat, but people are not down with believing in ghosts. They think I'm crazy.
But like, so I mean, the issue they take is not with your novel twist on the theory. It's the fact that ghosts exist at all. There's people out there who believe that you're wrong, that ghosts even exist. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have also, tying in the conversation about aliens, there are people who are way more comfortable being like, yeah, aliens exist. The universe is far too large. But they are just like, no, ghosts are made up and silly, and people just see things and they think they're ghosts and things like that.
I think they tie it in with religion. Like, I think
Oh, yeah.
it's all like, first of all, I am religious, but like, meaning I have as much basis.
Mhm.
Like they're like, oh, you believe in religion because you want to feel like you're less alone. It's like, well, that's what you're doing with ghosts, and that's what they're doing with aliens. Like just because it happens to be comforting doesn't mean it's wrong. And it's
Right.
so funny that somebody who poo-poo ghosts is totally believing wholesale on aliens. Like I believe that we're the aliens. Like I believe that we're going to be the ones who like we already done it. I mean, we've already gone to the moon. We're going to go to Mars, or we've already been there with the rover. It's like we're effectively the aliens for any little Martian life there is.
That is true.
Right.
And that's the thing. Aliens are probably not the little green guys with big eyes that we
Right.
think they are. And but it's the human feeling of like, it's so scary to think that we're alone and the universe is this huge. So we kind of have to believe that there's something else out there.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
and I imagine there is. Like, it's short-sighted to think that this planet has developed, or in either case, either this planet has evolved a species known as humans, or that, and no other planet has, or if you believe in God, it's like, so God created this planet of Earth and he didn't create other planets, this planet of life that is Earth, but he didn't create other planets of life. Like, in either event, you have to kind of leave room for the possibility that there's a lot of life out there. But,
Gotta. If there are aliens, I wonder if they have anxiety like I do. I wonder if they are plagued with the, human experience of depression and worry and all of those fun things.
Yeah, I love that I'm looking at one of your tweets that's captured here. And one thing we can take comfort in, and I think this is what I was thinking, is that somebody was like, well, I think if there's aliens, they could be already here, meaning they could just
Right.
be living in the ocean floor or something. And if that's true, they may be benevolent. Like, meaning if they have been here all this time and they haven't killed us or slaughtered us or used us for fuel, maybe they
Yeah.
will never do so. So first of all, existing doesn't necessarily mean they're
Going bad.
against us or whatever. But it's just like, so I mean, so it's so funny that, like, so sometimes you'll share your belief in ghosts with people and they'll be like, no,
Yes.
absolutely not. But then you won't go to second base and be like, and I have a theory where part of their energy is actually trapped.
So recently I got there with someone who, and I will admit, we may or may not have been a little bit high. So
Okay. That's when you bring it up, right?
That's exactly when you bring it up. It's like the perfect time. So we were actually upstate recently for my birthday, and I got into this conversation. They were like, no, ghosts don't exist. And you're not going to tell me otherwise. And I got into that conversation where I was like, listen, what if it's not the ghost that you think? And they kind of got on board. I think that I could get more people on board with my version of this.
Yeah, but it's less than, like, it's not comforting anymore, right? Because so certain people, if they believe in it, they want to feel the comfort of, I really want to see this person who just died again. I want to believe in ghosts.
Right.
But if they believe that it's just a little mass of energy that's fucking making shit fall over in the nursery,
Right.
then it's no longer comforting. So yeah, I really think that you could do two things. You could convince more people of the existence of ghosts and simultaneously killed all the romance of the notion.
Absolutely. And it's so much less sexy, and our
Yes.
horror movies wouldn't be as cool. But it does make sense to me. And it kind of accounts for, these places that are just like, also, sorry, can you hear the siren?
Oh no, man, you're straight. I don't hear any sirens. I think that's a ghost.
It's probably a ghost. It's the ghost of New York City. But this thing that happens where these places are extraordinarily haunted, like
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, like a house that just happens to have a lot of bad shit happen in it. If you go back and you look, it makes sense because a lot of people died there. I read this story, it was a really good ghost story about this house on Long Island. And when the woman, she kept having these paranormal things happening, and she was freaking out. And when she looked into the history of the house, it was like, an orphanage burnt down, some other guy died. I was like, whoa, okay, so like a lot of people died in here. That makes sense why it's so haunted. There's a
Yeah.
lot of energy getting trapped.
There's a lot of legs and arms around, a lot of loose appendages around.
Totally. So I think my theory tracks.
But just like, why does, is it because everybody said no that you're so intent on getting to yes? Because if it's not, you want to believe the romantic notion that there's an ancestor of yours that you'll get to meet again,
Right.
then the only reason to really give a shit, Britt Migs, is to prove all these people who tell you they're wrong, that you're wrong, right?
Yeah.
And why is that important to you? Like, is there other things that you're also similarly passionate about that you're only pursuing because people have told you you're wrong?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of things, ways I've disappointed my parents when you say that.
Yeah, with one minute left on the podcast, please, admit to all these things that you might not want to disclose, right?
No, honestly, my entire career in comedy is a disappointment to my parents. So I am just doing this to prove them that I could actually do it.
That
Yeah.
tracks. That's funny. I mean, like that would just like that's why you believe in this theory, because it kind of parallels your own. And I really think that parallels that whole thing you said about comedy right now. And I guess that leads me to the question: is when people follow you on Britt Migs at
Yes.
Twitter and also Britt Migs on Instagram and see your front-facing hilarity, like when can they expect the next funny ghost video to drop? Now that they see that you're an Emmy winner on BrittMigs.com.
After this conversation, it inspired me to do some more ghost content. I should definitely be doing that more. So maybe this week you'll have to stay tuned.
Yes, and so, but in the meantime, there is also already on the books the Halloween show for your sketch team. It's a Pit House sketch team, and it is disco tech support, which is hilarious. You're of course a performer? Are you also a writer? And I guess that doesn't matter because performers also usually write as well, right?
Yes, I am a writer. Right now, I'm a contributor at Reductress, the fun women's satire site, and a couple of other fun satirical outlets like Flex Mag and Slackjaw, where you can see my writing. I also do stand-up now and again. Book me on your outdoor socially distanced shows. I love that.
Yes. But if it's an indoor show, you want no part of it, right? You're like, it has to be outdoors and socially distanced. I will not even take a premium gig at the best club.
No, you can tell the Apollo. No, I'm trying to be safe in these crazy pandemic times. So, outdoor is the way to go. I'll bring a jacket. Don't worry.
I fucking love it. Don't worry, I'll bring a jacket. I won't bring a mask. I might bring a ghost with me. But yeah, so we track all our stuff. Britt Migs, she's so fucking funny. She's then on Twitter and Instagram, but also BrittMigs.com. Britt Migs, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so fun.